This is Deandra Beatty, and you're listening to The Bowler Show.
Hi, this is Jackie Bowling, and you're listening to The Bowler Show.
This is Jeff Riggles of Storm Products and the 11thframe.com. You're listening to The Bowler Show.
Hi, this is EJ Tackett, and you're listening to The Bowler Show.
Welcome to The Bowler Show, featuring interviews with the biggest names in bowling today. Tonight, it's the Eagle Show. We'll have OC royalty Matt McNeil on to represent this year's Open Championships team winners, Storm Product 1. Krol and Kyle Damon follow Matt, and they're your 2022 doubles champions. Brian Waliczek, who joined us a couple shows ago, returns to talk about his all-events wins, while John Buffa, Ronnie Sparks Jr., and John Kelley will be representing the team all-events winners. Capping off the show will be your singles champion, Alex George. And now your hosts, David the Waz Waswo, and myself, Luke Rosedal. Hang on, Dave. Don't have the audio. Yeah, well, he's fiddling around with his settings here. Welcome to the Bowler Show. We've got the Open Championships winners from 2022 coming on tonight. We'll have Mr. McNeil here in a few minutes, and I think we'll have Mr. Waswo here in a few minutes too, as soon as we get the sound settings figured out. So let me go on ahead and thank some of our sponsors to start off with. Obviously, we want to thank Storm Products Incorporated. We want to thank I Am Bowling, Coolwick, Bowlers Mart, SRGBBFS, Turbo. There we go.
Now.
Yeah, I can hear you back.
Are we good?
Going to options and enable installation.
I think I just did that.
Now I can't hear you now. Nothing yet.
Nightmarish. All right, well, I'll message you.
Okay. Well, no, I think we're good now.
Are we good?
Yeah, I'm not getting any feedback now, so I can hear you and you can hear me. And
all right, we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
Bring in some of our guests, but I think we're good for now. I had a little time off here. I haven't actually been on the show in a month, I believe, so it's been a little. Yeah. I'm piddling with some of the stuff on my phone. I was trying to work it out through my PC, which still doesn't have a camera, but I'm not smart enough to figure that out. I thought maybe it magically downloaded one in the last month for me. But Luke, why don't, before we bring on any of our Eagle winners, I had a chance to talk about my experience at Nationals. Why don't you take a moment? And if I don't believe you had a chance to last show, so what was your Nationals experience like?
It was all right. I was a little slow start in team, but team felt pretty okay. Double and singles was kind of interesting, and it was interesting for several other lefties too. I'd kind of like to get Matt's thoughts on that. Also, but for only being my second Nationals as a lefty, I didn't do terrible. I didn't do great, but I think I shot something, 580 in team. Doubles was rough. That was like 550, and then I shot 630 in singles, I think. So all in all, the trip was very interesting. The bowling's whatever. I'm still getting that figured out because there's a lot of things that are different that I'm having to relearn. But the bowling, once we actually got to Vegas, was fine. It was crazy and it was busy and whatever, but we had some vehicular stuff on the way down, and then we had some personal stuff on the way back that slowed us down a little bit. But craziness is over, so.
Yeah, I had my own fun on the way back last year in Colorado, where I had a flat tire and had to stop and stay overnight because the road had been shut down for 4 hours due to a fatality accident. So always fun. It seems like every time you've gone, it seems like you've had some sort of an adventure.
Most of the time it's Colorado.
Maybe we should just stay with the southern route. How's that?
Yeah. We just need to go when we go to Reno, it's not that bad, but of course then we're going right through Salt Lake City and Salt Flats, and then Nevada is awful. So it's like you drive 50 miles, or it's like you drive for an hour and you've only gone like 10 miles. It's just brutal.
All right, I got to ask because our producer Angels brought it up. How many hot dogs did you have?
I had 0 hot dogs. We could not fit the hot dogs in. We were trying to figure out how to do it, but we couldn't even fit any sleep in, let alone hot dogs. We had
to fit them in.
Yeah, we had the late and early squad, and then Trevor and his group was bowling there with Rhino Page and whoever else. They also had late squad, early squad, and so we went to watch them. Then of course the Bowlers Journal squads, we bowled 2 of those, and those were both 10 p.m. And then we had other stuff to go check out. We're not really Vegas people, so we didn't go anywhere and do anything really. It's just the stuff that we had scheduled was not great timing, and then of course we had to fit in some places to go eat. But it was a crazy week.
Oh, that's funny. I just sent a message to our first guest to make sure he's ready to go here. We also had a backup. Ron Moore was possibly going to be his backup, but he's got some stuff going on. Wanted to send his thanks for thinking for him. And actually, believe it or not, Luke, he told me he was in the middle of doing his sit-ups, which is no surprise to anybody.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's about right.
Committed to it. What is it, 1,000 a day or something crazy? He's up to 2.5 million.
Yeah, we'll have to get that like every month or something. The Ron Moore update on sit-ups and push-ups.
Yeah, I am, and we're waiting on Matt right now. Matt is doing double duty, of course.
Matty's in the wings here. He's ready to go. You're ready to go. He's ready to go.
All right, let's bring him on. He's got a million things going on. He's going to bless us with a few minutes of his time. So, Matt, welcome to the Bowler Show, sir.
Guys, thanks for having me. Always ready. Always happy to be on the show. I appreciate it.
Are you in the paddock right now?
I'm on the truck right now. I just stepped out. So we're second round of match play here at the Players Championship. So definitely duty's pretty quickly here, but I can step out for a few minutes to chat with you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I'm watching in the corner here. The girls bowling right now. So if anybody needs some help, I'll have them. I'll message you and let you know, hey, you need to run out there. Somebody's lost on the left lane or whatever. But take a moment, since it's the Eagle show, and talk about what it means to you to get your 5th Eagle, correct?
Yeah, number 5, pretty special. It's a elite company I'm with, and I'm just happy I got to experience it with my teammates. It was said having success on the lanes means a lot. When you can share it with more people that you're pretty close friends with, it's even better. So I've got bowling. I'm more. You know what? To be honest with you, I'm more happy for themselves, but it feels good to kind of be on top of the heap again and feel again. It's been 7 years since the last one, so it was pretty out and putting that number up. So pretty special moment.
All right, real quick, take a moment and talk about the little bit of the difference in team between the Lens Lakers and this team. I know you have a different group of guys, and especially this time when you had Ron Moore dragging you down.
Ron's one of the toughest guys I've ever known, and I tell you what, it takes a tough guy to shoot that score when the rest of the team is scoring. Because I credit Ron to him being so tough, but the best he could, and that's what ended up making the difference in the end. So, a really good group of guys. We're from all over. We got John Rakoski. He's won the TAD 2 times. He's from Myers. We got Justin Veach from Louisiana. David Lehner. He's a gold up with in Minnesota. Really talented players. So, nice crew there between the 5 of us. And then we got a great companion team. And it's a good crew. We don't go to, get rich or anything. It's pretty simple. Play the lanes the right way, make them nice, and try to be a little competitive. And this year we kind of found lightning in a bottle, and that fortunately enough, it was enough to hold up for an eagle. So I'm pretty.
Well, that's awesome. And as you said, you're down in Dallas with the ladies at the PWBA championship there. Take a moment and talk about what's going on with the Storm Gals right now and how are things going?
Well, we're in our second round of match play right now. We're bowling on a 40-foot. It's a little the topography of this center. It's the USA Bowl, formerly the Don Carter Center down here in Dallas. So trying to navigate our equipment selections and our lane play selections, bowlers, the lower rev players where we need to get them, and the higher rev players where we need to get them. So we're a little bit behind the 8 ball this morning, just a touch. We still got a healthy team, but we really got to dial it in here this evening, and then and make a big push.
All right, Luke, what you got for Matt before he goes?
All right. Well, so with most teams that are comprised of all righties or whatever else, they kind of talk with each other. They break the lanes down. When it comes to you, and especially with you having so many eagles, do you and the righties act as kind of sets of eyes for each other, or do you just kind of trust the bowlers on each side to say, hey, you know what you're doing, just going ahead and do your thing? How does that work?
Team effort. It's a team effort. It really is a team effort all the way around. Every single shot that goes down the lane, and we know well. So we're always communicating, watching shots go down the lane, and if there's a good lack of ego through. So we can say sometime to make a little move there. They'll get some good feedback from the guy coming off the approach, and 4-pinned, probably time for maybe a 2-and-1 or something like that. So I think that's a great thing that we have about our team, is that everybody feels free that they can talk to everybody. Mike Diaz, who's on the B team for us, he was really interested in making a pretty big change the third game, especially on the left lane. I was starting to lose it, and I went from made about a 6-7 board move right, and it proved to be getting me a healthy game that last game there. So and we know each other's games really well. So I'm pretty fortunate there as well.
And you've had so much success on the lanes, and I know that we're talking about the team winners. I don't want to just make it about you, but since we've got you on here, what kind of experience can you offer them from being in this situation several times? And obviously, you've got a bunch of guys that have had success; they know what they're doing. But this is this is a huge stage. This is not saying that you're going to get nervous or wilt under the competition, but it's a different type of deal. So what can you offer them as far as that goes?
Well, just you kind of feel when these moments start to come, and I had to kind of go through them in the past, and as things were shaping, just focus on making sure the guys stayed loose, that they stayed focused. We kept communicating. And that was really it. I know it's very cliche, but there really isn't a secret to handle big pressure moments. It's really just sticking to your process and reading the lanes. And I think that's how you deal with the pressure, is really keeping it simple and keeping your mind clear. And so that's really was my focus the whole time, is just making sure that everybody in everything that they had been doing, and then really emphasizing making sure motion, making the right moves, and then of course making good shots, and just keeping the success. And it really worked out. We had a couple great 10th frames from David Lehner and Ron Moore. So it was that it held on by 18 pins from the DiLaura boys. So it really was the difference.
All right. What do you think is, since you got 5 eagles now, 3 of them are all events eagles, so it's just you shooting numbers for 9 solid games. And it's not only about just, showing up and, well, I bowled good. You have a very short amount of time to find the shot, then you have to repeat. What strength of yours do you think has enabled you to do this several times, to not only find the shot, or to not just be able to execute, but to also find it quickly and then continue to execute and then continue to make the moves that you need to make?
Well, tournament experience, bowling, being a weekend warrior, being sharp, knowing yourself, what I call tournament condition. That means you're bowling a lot on the weekends, and that really helps you trust your instincts, helps you make better decisions quicker. And like you say, you got to show, I always felt when you're really sharp on those, being that weekend was are heightened, and you're just, you're mentally sharp, you're physically sharp, things are going well, and identify good ball motion better, and then make better shots when you get in some bigger situations to be able to handle those situations. So there's really no secret to success. I do this before I bowled every Open championships, and that's but there isn't. It's just making a lot of great shots, being in the right place at the right decisions, and just really just giving yourself the opportunity to. I think that's the biggest thing. There's no perfect in bowling. If you show up prepared, do the right things out there, you put yourself in a position for good things to find. You just hope more often than not they do.
All right, Dave, I'll pass it back over to you. And
all right, Matt, one more quick question. We got a question in the chat. John Lander wants to know what the ladies and yourself think of the twister pins there. We're seeing a lot more 4-9s and 7-10s and stuff than we usually see out of the ladies, and some messengers that are extremely strong. So what's the overall thought on the twisters there?
Well, they can be very hard to knock over sometimes. It's just, so we're just trying to, really trying to not let 10s, and the solid 8s and the solid 9s, it's off track mentally. It's just really important. You just, Danielle has been in some restraint, Shannon O'Keefe. The mentally tough bowlers are Bicote. I've always said the mentally tough bowlers will always find a way to. So we got a lot of our ladies bowling really well right now, and
yeah, having a few internet connection funds. He's coming to us from the truck at the PBA or the PWBA Tour Championships. So
I will message him and let him know we appreciate his time, and we will move on with the show. No reason for him to reconnect. So
yeah, he pretty well answered what.
So yeah, he's always humble. Luke, you're left-handed now, and you see what it's like at nationals, and people talk about him being left-handed, but you don't see any other left-handers dominate like he has. So he doesn't have anything secret, and he never talks about, hey, I can do this when others can't, but he just seems to get it done even after a little hiatus. For us mere mortals, it wouldn't be that big a deal, but 7 years for him, or 8 years, getting back to the Eagle Eagle winning thing for him is, something I'm sure he was wanting to do since it's been a while for him.
Yeah, and I think that's why I kind of fixate on the lefty righty thing a little bit, because it's just wild how different the games are and how different how different you have to approach bowling on each side. And then there was, singles and doubles. The team felt like it was fairly equal side to side. Singles and doubles felt like it was a lot tougher on the left side this year. And once you look at the pattern, you can kind of see why. But I mean, and Trevor Baumgartner is one that says this. It's like when you do well as a lefty, nobody gives you any respect, and when you don't do well, then everybody says that you're just not really that good. So I'm finding that to not be the case whatsoever. But it's a really interesting conversation that the hamsters like running wild about. So
yeah, when we run our Kansas City tournaments, I hear a lot. Obviously, coming down and doing the scores, and I don't mind when people complain about lefties here and there. It's when they complain about them, but don't ever say anything when they're locked out. And there's times, especially on sports shots, where, as you figured out now, there's not always a defined track or guys playing the same area of the lane, and kind of breaking down the pattern a little bit and giving you some sort of a dry area to throw it at. So I think the problem is people are quick to condemn what the lefties have when it's good, but never say anything when they don't have anything.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that on the right side of the lane, especially when you're bowling at nationals under tough conditions, and especially in team, the idea is get everybody on the same page, get them to break the lanes down correctly so that they then open up, so that then you get your scores in games 2 and 3. That doesn't happen on the left side. You've got to find it, then you've got to just hit it repeatedly. Yeah, it doesn't change a whole lot. It does, if you're using a bunch of surface, it changes faster, or the back ends will actually push down or settle down faster than the track will burn, unless you're using a bunch of surface. So there is some transition. Usually it's pretty predictable once you get used to it. But instead of, okay, we're going to open the lanes up, then we're going to get in and circle the lanes a little bit, that just doesn't happen. There's no extra miss room. There's no extra. You've just got to find it, and then you just have to bullseye it over and over and over again. And that's a different type of mental stress versus, okay, I got to keep up with transition. I got to make sure that I'm watching this sharp, because you don't want to throw one shot and then come back the next shot and have a disaster, even though you threw 2 good shots back to back. It could happen on the right side of the lane when you have, when you've got five people on each team, and you've got so many people throwing before you get to that next shot. And especially because you go one lane, then you go to the next lane, then you come back to the other lane. And, that's the frustration over there is, yeah, I threw a good shot, but the lane's changed. And, now we're on the left side. It's kind of like, well, you got the same shot basically just about every time, and it changes very little from shot to shot. But you don't have that extra kind of forgiveness or miss room that you get when you break the lanes down right.
Right. And as we said, Matt is not only winning Eagles, he's also repping for the PWBA Tour girls. And right now, let's do a quick update, Luke, on the PWBA Tour Championship, where Matt is at in Dallas. Looks like if you're from Columbia right now, you're doing pretty good. Leading the way, and this is after 11 games of match play. As we know, they bowled 24 total. They bowled eight before. They're bowling 8 now, and then they got 8 more tomorrow. Leading the way right now is Marie Jose Rodriguez, followed by Shannon O'Keefe, Laura Plazas. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Brianna Klemmer, Dasha Kovalova, and bringing up the Colombian contingent is Clara Guerrero. So a lot of girls in contention of the show, about 5 more that are only 100 out, and obviously with 13 games to go, plenty of time for everybody. I don't know if you knew this, Luke, but if I understood this correctly, after they got to the top here, I think they restarted scores. I don't think any of the pins carried over for this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that they have I've been keeping up with who's been winning so far. Brianna Cote and then Dasha Kovalova won yesterday. But I haven't been able to keep up with, the tournament series kind of as a whole.
Right. it's it's a little tricky there, and I noticed they had some problems with their score last night. People were freaking out in the chat because the scores were set up for 8-game blocks, and they were bowling 6-game, and everybody was on the scores, even though they were all the same if you added them up, and there shouldn't have been any problems with that. But they're getting ready. They're going into the 4th game now, and actually Verdi Crawley with the front 4 here for those of you double dipping and watching. I'm sure you're probably doing that, especially with Verdi on the screen here. I believe that is your favorite bowler, correct?
Yeah. I'm trying to dodge this fly right now.
So, all right. Any action in the queue right now?
Yep. We got both the Kyles in here ready to go whenever you're ready for them.
Bring them on.
All right.
Time for the doubles winners in the regular division. Kyle Krol and Kyle Damon. Which way is it? And I'm hearing no audio from either one right now.
Yeah, I had the same problem with Matt, so you guys might have to go into your sound settings and switch something. The software likes to default to really weird things, like it either likes to make your microphone both the microphone and the speakers, or something. So I'm sure that there's some kind of setting somewhere that's not working out.
Now we'll see which Kyle we get on here first. But once again, Kyle Damon, Kyle Krol, doubles winners this year in the standard division. And I'm waiting on my computer to catch up here. We're going to get their actual scores while we're waiting for them. And they ended up at 15-22. And we'll just keep talking here for a little bit.
See if I can.
18 and went to 469 and 535 finish. So we'll see if we can get these guys on. But great run for them, both from Illinois. Winning by 4 pins actually over Tony Odom and Nick Pawanda.
Can you guys hear me now?
We've got one of the cows on there.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, working in. All right.
Yeah, this software is weird sometimes with the settings, so you just got to kind of mess around with the audio settings until something works.
Yeah, I was in my car, so I guess.
Yeah, that's even trickier. This is which Kyle do we have?
We got Kyle Damon. Pretty sure it's Damon, right?
Damon.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle Kroll. Keep working on your audio if you can.
Testing.
Kyle Damon, let's start with you since we've got you right now. You go ahead and talk for the both of you for now. Obviously, it's hit you guys now that you've got the official confirmation. The tournament wrapped up a month ago. What's it like to be able to call yourself an Eagle champion?
Kind of unreal. Something I worked for the last 6 years ago international, as my boss in the pro shop would say, because we talk about all year long. We're going to practice on something a little harder than house, trying to see what the pattern is going to be like from some guys we know in the area that bowl before. It's always a guessing game, obviously, and up really well and made some really great shots. Yeah, I know we got the call and all that, but it's definitely not like, oh yeah, we won, but waited 6 long weeks of watching. It's a little unbelievable.
Yeah, I can imagine. You're a little choppy on my end. I can hear you in and out. Looked like you had a little trouble with maybe some transition there in game 2. Talk about how you guys kind of talked together, work through that, and maybe talk a little bit about the equipment you used.
So game 1, we came out and we kind of dribbled in practice, but our pair's topography was really can be flat out towards 5, 6, 7, and I like to play. I was able to throw a and probably of game 2 when I got in trouble, but ball started to lay off the shape it should have, and I ended up 2-10. a couple were good. So I went to a Black Widow 2.0, just let the ball in the lane. I think I threw the back 4 or 5 90. Talking with Kyle, he threw a gem the entire time. I know what it looks like. He threw a roto grip gem. The ball just didn't really lay up, keep going, be aggressive at the bottom of the swing. And I did, and we came out and shot the game. But yeah, helping each other stay positive, even though we were just shooting 190 after 270, kind of a little bit mentally. But I've been best friends for the last 15, so he kind of knows, maybe time, and I'll figure it out. But
All right, take a moment and talk about the phone call when you received it. I believe it probably came from Aaron Smith or somebody else. I know it's hard to put into words to describe that moment.
Kyle and I both work overnight, so trying to waiting for that phone call all day was anxiety building for sure. But it's hard to have captured this. This is obviously a lot of people that bowl. I do go to tournaments when I'm free, but work doesn't always allow that. So capturing an eagle is just it's very hard to put into words. Sometimes almost a month later, still hard to express how excited I am.
And did they say when are they sending the eagle? I know they don't just send those right away. Did he say when that's coming?
Nope, we're just waiting like everyone else is for their pet stuff.
And for a bit there, I lost you. You were talking about watching the scoreboard. Are you a big scoreboard watcher? What about the other Kyle? Did you guys kind of coordinate when somebody maybe had 1,000 after 2 or a little less than that?
Pretty pinned down. We worked the same schedule. I worked 12s. He worked 8s. We look at the stars of the day, and if somebody we thought I should watch them, like we knew when Prather Bowl bowling for Fox Bowls group, not even an hour away from us. So their squad has a lot of heavy hitters on it. So we would chime a while, and then as the days got a little bit, start watching every squad. Just to be like, oh well, just watching a little bit and seeing what's going on out there, because I can tell you until now to beat it, and didn't watch everything when we were awake to look.
Yeah. All right. One more. I got one more, and I'll turn it over to Luke. We have a little better connection with one or both of you, but there's a question in the chat we got to ask each bowler on here. How many of the hot dogs did you have there at the stadium?
Can you guys hear me right now?
The entire bit.
Oh yeah, I think we can hear you both now. So yeah, the video and audio is not matching up, but I think we got you both now.
Great. It was the hot dog.
Perfect.
Part for my entire 7.
So the how many hot dogs had? Probably about 2 while we were out there, especially after we like Kyle was saying, both of us work overnight, and we overnight, and like about 4 or 5 hours after we got off of work, we ended up hopping on a plane out to Vegas. So that day was a little brutal, and reset our body clocks and everything like that. But that's why we like to get out there a day earlier.
All right. Other Kyle, I'm going to turn this over to Luke. It sounds like you got a better connection right now than the Kyle in the car. So, Luke, what do you got here for Kyle number 2?
Yeah, so I guess he's okay with Kyle number 2. We call him Kyle K, I guess.
Or double K.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. K squared, of course, that's Kelley Kulick's thing, but I think winning the double, you can borrow it for tonight anyway, since you guys won. So you talk about the stress of waiting for the tournament to be over, number one, and it's a little different than going and bowling a regional or something else, or even when you bowl other tournaments that have this format where you just kind of go shoot your score and then you wait for a couple months. This is a little different deal than just seeing if, hey, we won this tournament and we get a nice prize, but an Eagle's kind of a different story. Just talk about how the wait was really, because there was I think bigger than that out there, but realistically you think about it, it's a couple of 760s. That's kind of hard to mess with. But how comfortable did you guys feel, number one? And number two, how rough was that wait?
Well, I'll just say right away off, it was absolutely brutal. I cannot tell you how many nights on our phones, in between little breaks here and there, looking for like, okay, they shot 520 the first game. They're on pace for out at it. And after a while, it's just like every little day, every day your names that we know that, whether they're from, college bowling, just, famers, and countless other people that I know from around the Chicagoland area, just the Midwest in general. So yeah, the wait was absolutely, I can't tell you, but it was just, it's so relieving to have it done. For that score, 15-22, I can say for Kyle, I did not know that we were really even on that pace at all. I tend to not like looking at the score while we're bowling. Just what I'm going out there to try to get as many pins as I can in general. There's no need to put any added. We need this double right now to get to take the lead or something like that. So I just tend to not watch it. I honestly knew that there was something going on. Aaron behind us, and I saw the camera there, and I'm like, oh Lord, please, one in the gutter again. Yeah. But it was it's a surreal thing at this point. Just to shoot what we did. It's like you guys said, it was one of those things later where I'm sitting there, I'm like, do you know how big of a score that we shot? Like how, God forbid, open once in the middle or something like that. It's incredible just to think about that.
Yeah, we actually, when I was there, I got a chance to watch Jake Peters. He did really well in doubles and singles, and up to the 7th frame in game 3, he still had a chance to catch 848. And it's just, I was stressed for him just sitting there watching, and he ended up with 790, which is still a monster score. But it's just the mental grind of 3 solid games and making those good shots and knowing you guys are scoring well. Again, I'm kind of the same way. I tend to like, okay, well, this is what I can get to, and then I just get to what I can get to. We'll figure out the scores on the other side. But yeah, when you have Aaron come down, and then you have you see people kind of congregating. How did you guys just kind of block that out or not pay attention to that? There's no way to not pay attention to it, but how'd you guys handle that?
I'll start out.
I'll give Krol here great credit because I hate being on first shot in the 10th, having no clue what was going on around. He's pointing at the wall, saying, "Look that! What's going on the wall? Like, what are you talking about?" And I finally got back there, and he threw his shot. You don't doink it off your ankle already. I'm like, I don't throw a good shot. Okay, I'm throwing a nice stroke. I kind of loudly, I'm like, "The hell is he talking about?" Oh, he's doing something pretty good. So I give him credit because I would have got her if he didn't say something. I saw a camera behind.
That was so. I feel two very unfortunate that are out on Facebook. I call the infamous, team trials back in, I believe, 2017. So I get it for, around here for making people stay for that video. But it was just one of those things where it's like I know how I am. I'm really good friends, best of friends for over 10, 15 years now at this point. With just we don't want the attention. We rather just be kind of a little bit more, do what we need to do, and and then afterwards we can and everything like that. So it was as soon as I saw a quick glance back that I saw Aaron back there, I'm like, okay, you know what? It is what it is. Whatever happens. I mean, if it's meant to be, it's go up there, keep your mindset the same and just throw a good shot. Personally, I know that I was in like a mental zone where I was locked in. I felt like I had tunnel vision. I didn't see, up next to me. So, the lane courtesy was okay at that point, but going up there, making shots and trying to make sure that Kyle was in that same mindset. It's one shot at a time. I mean, what we're out here, what we're doing right now, big, but I didn't think it was going to be that big.
The number
All
itself.
right.
15, 18 was the number. Was huge pressure to we got to make sure we get 9 here. I think just not knowing is a really important thing for Leeds. But I think a lot of people probably benefit from they.
Yeah, just get what you can get and do the math later. Anything else is just too much to try to pay attention to. It's really cliche, but the whole one shot at a time thing, you're going to throw the shot, and you could throw it amazing and get a bad break, and you could throw it terrible and get a good break. So really, you just got to get out there. You got to throw the shot and see what happens. So, Dave, I'm going to pass it back over to you.
All right, guys. I just wanted to thank you for coming on and staying through the technical difficulties. It's a little trickier on your phone, and sometimes the settings are tricky. I even have trouble getting on, and I'm doing it from my house. I've done it a few times, so we understand that. But once again, congratulations. Way to make it through the waiting process and hang on. And I know you guys are already looking forward to next year to when you receive your stuff and get all the accolades when you're at the USBC Open Championship. So congratulations once again from Luke and I.
All right.
Thank you guys so much. It's a pleasure being here and totally an honor. So thank you guys.
All right. No problem. Guys, take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Sounds good. See ya.
All right. Kyle Damon, as the previously said, Kyle 1 and Kyle 2, because I wasn't sure which one was on, which one to go. A little tricky. I think from here on out we'll be good. Luke, we've got Brian Walachick in the wings. Last time he was on, he had no problem with connections. And then actually we may have some jumbling around to do here when we have team all events. We could have 1, 2, or 5 guys on here. We'll see how many guys are cramming in to one house there. I know that Ryan Van Hecky and John Buffa, I want to say Buffa, but you said Buffa, so I'm going with you.
I think it's Buffa.
We're gonna go with that. They're gonna be in the same house.
Looks like Buffa, but I think it's Buffa. We'll see.
Yeah, they'll be together. So and they'll be on one link, and then we'll see. Ronnie's going to be on the other link. Currently, we don't need to send any other links, so it could be just those 3. But anyway, congratulations to the 2 Kyles once again. It's even more special. Look at Matt was on here. He won with his team. These Kyles just won with each other with in doubles. Those to me And of course, nothing to take away from Alex's accomplishment because it's awesome too. But it's really cool to be able to share with one or more teammates.
Yeah, especially when it's in when it's something like that. I mean, it's just different bowling a team event because it takes, and then the team all events thing is even crazier. But yeah, when you got so many people working together, there's extra pressure there because you don't want to let anybody down, and then you have to help lift everybody else up, and so you're not just really focused on your game, you're focused on for other people's games too, and helping them watch stuff, and but then you got the support there too, and so yeah, when 5 people are able to kind of come together and get something done, it's just something extra.
Yeah, and Matt sent me a message letting us know that his phone overheated. So
phone overheated.
We've had. I don't know about your. Obviously, it's different on your end, Luke. But last time I used my phone, I didn't have the phone plugged in. I had my charger case on. I had 4 charges in there. By the end of the show, I had 20% left though. So the software will definitely zap your phone if you're using the phone.
Yeah. The streaming video it just takes a bunch off of it. So
yeah. All right, well, let's do this. We're going to bring in Brian Walachick here in just a few minutes. So let's take a moment. Why don't you play the Bobby Jackson's commercial, and we'll come right back with some more of the Bowler Show.
Good.
Bobby Jackson's Trading is the place to sell all your unwanted precious metals, including broken gold and silver jewelry. They also buy old silver and gold coins, so check them out for all your buying and selling needs. Also, did you know that Bobby Jackson's Trading pays top dollar for your unwanted gift cards? You know, the ones your grandma got you for Christmas? Bobby Jackson's Trading is located on 23rd Street, just 1 block east of Noland Road in Independence, Missouri. They're open 7 days a week. Check them out at bobbyjacksons.com or give Bob Foster a call at 816-463-1919. That's 816-463-1919.
And the good-looking guy you saw there was Bob Foster. And Bob, of course, running a couple of leagues here. He runs the summer league at Lunar, and then also he's got a winter league, I believe, on Thursday nights this year. And he just does a great job promoting bowling. He's got a real cool league they got there, Luke, over the summer where they bowl 3 games. They cut to 16, and they bowl just like the NCAA tournament. And next thing you know, they got a champion. And so it's really cool, and they pay weekly and pay at the end. So check out bobbyjackson.com, and if you want to join one of his links, just shoot him a message on Facebook.
Yep.
So I just talked to both Kyles here on Facebook, and they're talking about their connections, and I told them it's no big deal. It's part of the business and part of what happens here sometimes on the show.
Yep, it happens. Appreciate him trying to make it work, and that's what the thing is, especially like with Matt McNeil too. He's in the middle of doing something. And so whenever somebody fits us in when it's not necessarily convenient for them, even if it doesn't always turn out perfect, we always appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's do this, Luke, while we're waiting for Brian Walachick to come on.
He's in there and he's waiting.
Oh, look and see if he's got a drink. If he's got his drink ready, well, let's go ahead and bring him on. If not,
he's got his drink ready. So am I gonna? What are you drinking? Am I gonna have to go get whiskey, or am I okay with? Or is it tea? Oh, man, we got the audio issues again.
No way.
This stuff doesn't like AirPods. I don't know what it is that this software has against AirPods, but they don't like AirPods. So, or just click around in settings until something happens. So,
yeah, they're not very attractive on Brian either, so he's taking them out. Not sure you can hear me at the same time. We'll find out here momentarily. Still no audio yet.
Nothing yet.
May have to go into settings.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with it's the microphones. Everybody can hear us tonight, but we can't hear them. I don't know what the deal is with the microphones tonight. Why the software is like not liking microphones tonight. Testing. Nothing yet. I wish I could read lips.
We could always ask questions and do hand signals. Brian, is this your first drink of the night?
Can you?
Yeah, there we go.
We're getting
First
there.
drink.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
First
you
and
can hear me or
foremost,
no?
we
Yeah,
can.
we can hear you. Yeah, we're good. Can you hear us?
Congratulations, sir.
Okay, so I was switching some settings around.
Okay, yeah, I
Congratulations
don't
on the
know why
microphone.
this.
Yes.
Well, that too.
How are you guys doing? I had AirPods on. My wife is working down in our office area right now as well. She's not a bowler. She has a real job, and so but good for us. I just kicked her out. So I got the headphones out. We're good to go.
All right.
As you may have heard, I've got Gabby right next to me too. So we got all kinds of stuff going on. Problems with microphones and people.
No, we're good. Well, we're good to go now. But your next crew of people with Van Hecky and Kelley and Sparks, it's not going to go well.
Hi, dude.
Well, we're gonna keep you on. We'll talk to you for a little bit here, and then
All right.
later we'll
all right.
we'll bring you on with them also, and then you can let them have it.
I sent a message to Lang and Sparks. Lang's on the team as well. I don't know if he's going to be on there, and he said as long as they can have the last word. So we'll go from there. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Well,
and I apologize. What you said, McNeil was also having issues.
Everybody so far, it has not liked the microphone. So
his flip phone wasn't working. What's the deal?
Yeah, the phones, the computers, because Kyle number 2 was on a computer and his didn't like it either, and so everybody so far has had to mess with their settings until they got it sorted out. So I don't know.
All
right.
Well, thank you for having me.
Let's talk Eagle. Hey, absolutely.
Okay.
We had you on before. Let's talk about the events of whenever you bowled. I don't know exactly the date you bowled, but a little bit of a wait. You ended up with 2241 for your total score for team all events. Talk a little bit for the people who didn't listen to us the last time we had you on. Talk a little bit about the weight and how you handled that weight, and then how you handled it when you realized you were an Eagle champion.
I bowled in May, and so there's about a 2.5. So you're not halfway, but you're close to halfway through the tournament, and obviously put up the score. And I have been fortunate in the past to be with a pretty good team, and we've been up for Eagles in the past in team events, and it always been a fun wait. Like, so even if it was 2 or 3 months, and we spoke last time I was on, and many people are familiar with Adam Barta and a couple other people on our team with Mike Rose that also has 4 Eagles, and but it was always a fun like text stream that we'd always be talking to people, because Adam is very annoying on texts and doesn't stop sending messages, and will tell us scores and be hyper. He's worried about everything. I mean, anybody that shoots 1,000 and that has to shoot 1,400 to catch us, he's like, they're on pace. We everybody get on right now. But it was a fun stream, just a fun text message back and forth, and we'd always be able to root against people, and 3 times before it worked out, and we were able to win 3 Eagles together as a team, and so this one was much more brutal because I didn't have that to fall back on. There was no. I mean, I didn't want to bother my team with my own. I'm sure they would have loved rooting me on at the same time. And they sent me some messages too when like a couple guys were bowling well. But for the most part, it was me trying not to watch scores. And so I ended up watching. Basically, I'd wake up in the morning and look if Facebook posted anything, because they would 8 a.m. Eastern is when they would post the scores. But any scores that were through the night would be on some sort of post that Aaron, the USBC IT guy, would post. So pretty much I'd wake up in the morning, and if I didn't see anything, everything was good. And if I did see something, then I'm like, oh, crap. But so anyway, it was a lot more brutal this time, to an answer to your question of waiting for the scores. And I enjoyed it much more when the team component was on play.
All right. Well, you ended up getting very lucky and hanging on for for your own all events.
Very lucky.
Who on your team would you blame for coming up 48 pins short of team all events?
So many people to blame. God, who should we blame? Did you have any people?
I'm going to let you field this one.
Let's go with Adam. Let's start with Adam. Let's start at the top. Adam probably first, because he could have shot 300 the last game, and he gave up 30 pins in the last 2 frames. Oh, never mind. I got to do this the right way. It was my fault. I could have had a couple more in team. But you know what? They shot. I mean, when the guys, I hate all of the guys from Detroit that got the record, but they got shot the highest score ever, and ours was the second highest score. So I don't know if we can truly blame any of our teammates except in fun and jest. But I mean, they shot the highest score ever by I think a couple hundred pins, and we were able to be close to them in that same regard. So it was a pretty damn good weekend, and we were close going up into the 9th and 10th frame. And it's funny, just the transitions that you go through, and your crowd's pretty educated, so I think I can talk some bowling. But I was on the companion pairs, doubles and singles, and my other 4 teammates were on our regular. We're all together on the pair right next to us. And their pairs seemed to have just a touch of transition in the last game, or they just threw it awful. I'm going to go with transition. And so you could see, because all of a sudden Scott started going high, and Vern was never really locked in, and Adam grinded through some shots, but nobody was able to really lock it in those last couple frames. But I mean, second highest score ever shot, so still decent.
Speaking of, how we want to kind of joke with your teammates, why are you the odd guy out when it comes to picking doubles?
Great question. Maybe we should get them on. Yeah, Scott and I think originally Scott and Mike had always been doubles partners. And so they just kind of kept together. And originally our team consisted of Rob Gottschall and Adam Barta. And at that time, Adam and Rob were a little closer in friends. So they were like, they want to bowl together. It's like, fine, whatever, you guys bowl together. So then I found a teammate on the other team, and we kind of just stick that way. We went through a couple partners, and it's a little easier for me to adjust than I think maybe moving Adam over, or moving Mike or even Vernon this year. So I think just because adjustments are a little simpler for the way that I'm going to make adjustments, it just seems natural that I can be on the pair that might be a little more confusing.
No, I've lost the other.
I got you. I'm still good. Are you guys good?
Yeah, I'm still good. I don't know what he's poking at, but
all right, Luke, if you can hear me, I've lost the audio.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm fine. Dave's the only one not drinking, so I think that's probably the issue.
Dave, Luke, he can't hear us, can he?
I don't know.
Well, Luke, how'd you end up bowling?
Well, I'm a lefty now, and I wasn't really that great as a righty, so.
That's right.
Yeah, so.
Luke, he can't hear us, can he?
I don't know. I don't think so. So we can say what. Oh, there. Okay.
He's starting to catch back up.
Yeah, we can hear ourselves now. Clicky, clicky. This has been a great show so far.
Sounds like it. Everything's clicking.
Yeah, it's been an adventure. So
is this how it went with Norm?
Yeah. Well, Norm's show was actually
pretty good. I had a phone call come in.
Pretty smooth until Norm's computer ran out of battery. His charger could not keep up the battery life with what it was draining. So Yeah, it was exciting. Okay. Well, he's just gone, so I guess I'll talk to you.
All right.
Yeah. So increasing, or gaining another eagle to your convocation. Remember, that's,
That's the term.
Yeah. Once you get, because that's a group of eagles, but you're getting into the point where you're like in Matt McNeil territory where you need like a couple groups. So they might have to start thinking about the way that the doubles things work, since you were the guy that got the numbers and they were kind of left out. So turnabout's fair play, I guess. But since you've waited for eagles before, and you said that this was more stressful since it was just you, but I mean, what's the wait normally like? Was it, or I don't know. I guess was it? You said it was worth. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm trying to say here. I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm not getting it out very well.
One person, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I actually did. I sponsor Justin Knowles, and he's a very good bowler. He finished second at all, and he actually had a chance to shoot 299 to tie and 300 the last game, and he had the front seven, and came up just a touch short, but he was really like him. I had a good time texting. So he was my texting emotional person I could lean on, because one thing that was very cool, and he should get a trophy for, is the fact that he was the highest lefty by I don't know if it was 100, but it's close to it.
Yeah.
And that in itself is pretty amazing. And because literally it's two different tournaments for left-handers and right-handers. They try to make them as fair as possible. It just isn't. Yeah. I know smart people are putting together the patterns and everything, but it really is two different tournaments. And it was and so I cheered him on. I wanted him to be the highest lefty by a ton of pins, and he did it. And he wanted me to win as well. And so I think I'm gonna have to get him I'll have to buy him a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
From our end.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting being on the other side of it now, since since I'm not bad, but I wasn't ever like that great, and so I've got to pay a whole lot more attention to ball reaction and lane play and whatever else. Well, now on the left side, that's all totally shot. So because the transition's different, the way the lanes play is different. I need different equipment. I got to play different angles. Like the transition, there's not a whole lot of transition, but it's very different transition when it shows up. And so, yeah, it is kind of interesting. And, Justin doing that well, kind of blows my mind, because even some of the other guys had issues, Matt McNeil and some of the other big name lefties had some issues in doubles and singles specifically, but Dave, do we have you back here, Dave? I'm just going to do a Dave check real quick. See, I can't hear him now. So, it's been exciting. We got you. You coming back?
I see Jay Lang is in the waiting area. I bowled college with Jay Lang. He's bad at reading lanes, if that's helpful. So I'm not sure who helped on their team.
Yeah.
I hope he wasn't the person leading the way.
Oh, man. Yep. Yeah, he's just going to have to sit there and wait. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to them here in a minute.
All right. Sounds good.
But, yeah, Dave's still messing with his. We hear something.
That phone call got me.
Yeah, there we go.
Dave, you're back.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're back to save me from my idiotic rambling here.
Well,
I don't know what I'm trying to say something, but I really don't know what I'm trying to say. So,
well, let me save you by saying, yeah, take another drink and don't worry about it. But apparently, when a phone call comes in, when I've got it on the phone here, it completely destroyed every setting I had somehow. So that's where I left off. But Brian, we kidded a lot about your team, obviously. What are the odds the same team comes back next year?
Of my squad?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we're together. we're in it for a while, and hopefully we can just keep putting scores that are close to it. You never know. It's so quick. I mean, you get 9 games, or 3 games in team, and if one of you makes a bad move and you all think they threw it good, I mean, you can be tricked quickly. So, but no, our team will come back, and we work well together. I think our basic component is we never. It's never about money with all of us. It's always just trying to win. So everything we do, we chop everything, and never have to worry about what the other guy is shooting, and I think that helps out. And so it'll be the same squad next year.
Well, we got a question in the chat for you that the person listening would like to know. How are you so consistent with your scores? You know, a lot of guys have to deal with breakdown or maybe a game or two that they don't carry. Well, what's the key to being so consistent this year?
This year, well, I got to use the same ball for all 9 games. Now, it doesn't mean I played them the same, because what I look for when I look for reaction is what the pins are doing. The pins kind of tell me if I need to switch bowling balls. If they're still moving good, then I try and stay with that ball. I'm not a quick ball change guy, but what I did this year was switch ball speeds a lot. And that allowed me to stay with the ball. So like if a spot got a little bit squirrely, I could stay with that same ball, but move 2 or 3 left and just be slower. And then if obviously it worked, I didn't have to, if sometimes, not always, it doesn't always work, but in this case it did work. So then that was mostly my consistency, because when guys go out to that tournament with 9 bowling balls, I kind of chuckle. You're only bowling 9 games, and 3 of them, or actually 6 of them, are basically on the fresh. And even then, you're on your doubles and singles, it's only 4 on a pair, so you're not really making a lot of moves. I mean, if you are, that's good for everybody else that's pulling against you. You want to keep things simple from mine. So I saw in a message, someone asked what ball did I end up using. So I used a Rubicon, pretty solid. And the only problem is with only bringing a couple balls, if they're really bad, then you're in trouble. Because the previous year I put too much surface on my bowling balls, and they read right at the front part of the lane, and it looked awful. So because the same thing, I brought 5 bowling balls, and my 2 balls that I planned on using on the fresh, I had too much surface on, and so they read too quickly, so I didn't really have anything I could go to, and I don't know, I didn't make that mistake this year.
All right, well, let's step aside from the USBC Open Championships and talk about the 6-game scratch tournament that you bowled on August 3rd, where you recruited your wife.
Oh, yes.
How did things work out?
I have not bowled much in the last month, but I know I got a lot of stuff's coming up. So this is a good little event. One of the I insure bowling centers is my career, and one of my clients said, "Hey Brian, can you come out? We're doing this doubles tournament. It's in honor of a former bowler, and it's, I think first time he told me it was like 3 or 4 games, and I was like, sure, no problem. It's a little bit of a drive. I know it wasn't a lot of money, so it was going to be tough to recruit my normal doubles partners, but I figured I could do something last minute. Justin Knowles is sometimes one of those partners. He threw me under the bus for another tournament, so he couldn't do it. Another guy I had couldn't do it, so I was like, all right, Jill, my wife, she bowled in 3 leagues before we had kids, and my oldest is 16. So it's been a little while since she's bowled. So we got out her freeze, yes, and it has an extra hole in the side, non-sanctioned. So we drove an hour to our bowling center, and then we found out it was 6 games, which was awesome. So she pulls out, we had to wipe off the spiders and all the other stuff that's grown on the bag, and she threw on the shoes, and she was a trooper, man. She's I wouldn't. Well, I don't know. You guys decide this. Was she a trooper or was she stupid? Because after a game and a half, she goes, or actually after game one, she's like, my thumb's starting to hurt here. I'm like, yeah, because you haven't bowled forever. We can put some patches on it. No big deal. And then after game two, because now it's 6 games, every 2 games you bowl against somebody else. So after game 2, she's like, ooh, it's really starting to hurt. And I don't know if there's some tingling. I'm like, yeah, that's not good. So then we move to basically the end of game 3, and she's like, it's going numb. Game 4, she can't feel her thumb, and there's just pain inside of her hand. And I'm like, don't bowl the last 2 games. And she looks at me and she's like, no, I came here to bowl. We're going to bowl. Well, so she decided to bowl the last 2 games, and she did great. She's probably she could be decent, but I would say she's probably a 145 average bowler, but she probably averaged 160 on the day. And she couldn't feel her hand the last 2 games. And Wednesday and Thursday, she could not move her arm. And she's a pretty active person, and a little more respect for our bowlers nowadays.
Now, did you say she's within earshot of you right now or not?
No. I shot her upstairs. That's why I wouldn't have said those things if she was nearby.
Gonna say we get a live look in on her thumb, or even bring her on and ask her how her body's doing right now, because she's took a little while to recoup.
Yes, no, she's doing better now. I think she's thinking about working out again, but I don't know. I probably need to talk a little quieter.
All right, Luke, this guest is getting a little stale. Why don't we see if we can bring in some other guys to liven this thing up a little bit? Who we got in the queue? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in there waiting.
Yeah, we got all kinds of people, so I'm just going to start adding people and see what happens.
All right, I'll introduce them as they come on if I know them. So doing things on the fly.
I'm going to put myself out of here because we got a lot of people. So
it's all good. We're speaking with Brian Walachick, of course, the All Events Championship champion this year. We're going to bring in the team All Events champions here momentarily as Luke works through it. As I see a couple of guys in there, looks like Ronnie Sparks and Jay Lang are here. Guys, welcome to the show. Let's check your audio. Audio check, please.
How we doing, guys?
All right. I believe we're 1 for 2. 1 for 2. Luke, who's okay, there we go. You got Jay and Ronnie. Go ahead and speak one more time.
How we doing tonight?
All right, Jay, looks like you're good. Ronnie, we're going to work with your audio. You need to check your settings if you can hear me and see what we can do with that. Jay, you're going to speak for the group. Brian had a lot of horrible things to say about your team. Go ahead and take a moment and rebut him.
I am not surprised, and I loved Brian to death. He's been my guy since back in the 90s at Saginaw Valley, and I'm happy for him. He got his 4th. I'm even happier he shaved, because that beard he had looked absolutely atrocious. That picture in team was so bad, I actually wore a T-shirt. And I'm just waiting the next time we bowl together, I'm going to wear it. It's beautiful.
All right.
Wes, can I do one rebuttal real quick?
You guys can take over the show as far as I'm concerned.
Well, so Lang and I bowled together, and back in the 90s, and he left a shirt at one of the houses that I lived at. And so there in the tournaments in Michigan, it's called Michigan Majors. You have to wear it was a Michigan Major. Anyway, you had to wear a name shirt. And I didn't have a name shirt at the time. And Jay no longer fit in this shirt. I think you could fit in it now. But God. But anyway, I don't know if Jay remembers that shirt.
Yes, it was a pink shirt with
probably a little
green lettering
or something on it.
Yeah, it may have, or be like a Lamode shirt. And he shows up, and I'm wearing a Jay Lang shirt, and he's wearing a Jay Lang shirt, but his shirt has got to be 15 years old. And, I was in tears. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
He couldn't fit in it.
No, God, no. It would have fit half my body back at that time.
All right, guys, we've had a little audio problems tonight. Let's do a quick sound check. Ronnie, can you speak? It's a little bit choppy, but we can hear you. John Kelley, your turn.
How's it going?
All right, we can hear John too. All right, Ryan and John, are you there? Okay, looks like Ryan and John, if you can work on your audio settings there, it looks like we do have no audio from you. So, Ronnie and John, you guys feel free to chime in here, talk a little bit about all the teamwork and stuff that led you guys to Team All Events title.
Oh, I was like, you guys. Hello.
You're good.
I'm good. You guys. Oh.
All right, Luke, are you still with us, Luke? Luke is still
I guess we can add more people than this. I didn't know that we could add more people, or I just stuck this out here. But yeah, all the audio problems tonight.
All right, we'll keep working with them. Anybody who has an audio feed, feel free to speak up and talk about the team. Brian, we've already heard enough from you, so let's talk to Jay or Ronnie and these guys, see if they can hear us. Go ahead and talk a little bit about the teamwork and everything, and just talk a little bit about how much.
Can you hear us now?
Together, yes.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay, well, according to Brian, I'm horrible at reading lanes, and he's probably 100% right. So I'll turn it over to Johnny or Ryan and John if they want to talk a little bit.
Jay Lang was not terrible at reading lanes at this event. There are some people, or at least one in this group, that cannot read a lane, and I'll admit that I'm that guy. So I just looked for Jay's wisdom to tell me where to throw a ball.
Same.
That's about how it went.
All right, take a moment, talk a little bit about your ball the balls you guys threw, and take us through a little bit of some of the transition you guys had to do to stay so consistent and put up such a huge score, setting the all-time record.
We'll let John Kelley chime in here.
No, I'm going to let Ronnie take this one.
Keep switching, Luke.
Can you guys?
Yeah, it's a little choppy. We can hear you.
Is it choppy? Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Let me try to back up.
Yeah, technology's been so fun tonight.
Is that?
Well, this is too bad because Ronnie's clearly the best looking guy in the group. So
without a doubt.
Very true.
Can't get his audio to work currently.
Oh, it's working. It's just
choppy.
Yeah.
It looks. Where are you at, Ronnie? He's still working. All right. Somebody else is going to need to take the ball from this team.
I'll take it. I'll give it a go if you want. So, Ronnie is clearly one of the best I've ever been around or ever seen, and he has more tricks than most guys on the planet. So I think he threw the same ball all 9 games. I think he threw a Nova and he just tricked it up. I personally, in team event, had a really, really good look, and it helped even more that I was super sharp that night, thank God. And I went from throwing a Incognito Pearl, and I switched to an Obsession Tour about midway through game 2. And I was fortunate to my carry was excellent. I was repeating, making good shots. The rest of the guys, they just kind of, they chugged along. They're like, hey, what should we do? Where should we look? And Ronnie was basically the main catalyst for that. I was the leadoff guy just trying to get out of the way. Ronnie was in their ears, telling them what to do. And we had a chance going, into the 10th. And Ronnie, he aced one, and it rang a 10. And unfortunately, we came up short. But when it came to day 2, I didn't have the greatest look. I thought it was okay. I didn't bowl as well. The other guys, they just ran him over. I mean, Ronnie having 770 in doubles. I gave him 7-0 with 2 teen in the middle. And I would like a few shots back. But the other guy, Buffa was on the companion pair, so we kind of helped him along, putting the right balls in his hands, trying to make the right moves. But for our pair with our 4 guys, Ryan struggled out of the gate. Ronnie said, we're going to do something different. He moved him right. He went from rolling it to throwing it about 110, and he just never missed after that. He was breaking things. It was impressive to watch. Johnny, he liked to play him hard and straight, so they didn't really see a whole lot of transition. I did a little bit, mostly game 3 on one lane, and it kind of cost me a few pins not seeing it fast enough. But those guys both great day 2. It was incredible to watch. I just kept striking. I was just trying to not hurt them.
Now, after shooting 34-68 in team, and as you said, just missing out on taking the lead in that and winning that title, did you guys talk that night or the next day about, hey, this is a huge start towards team all events, and maybe talk to this even more? At what point, or was there a point where you guys started adding up the scores and knowing, hey, maybe after doubles we've got a shot at team all events and the record?
Yeah. So the minute we got done, we were short, 18 pins short. Literally said, hey, look, there's a bigger picture here. Don't get down. Don't get down. Don't hang your head on this. Second place, nice place to be in. It's a bigger picture here. We got a good chance at tomorrow. And we got done with doubles, and I had some family in the back. My dad was back there, and he's a numbers guy. I said, hey, how we look? And he's like, you're fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. So after each game, I kept asking him. He's like, you're fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. And he wouldn't tell me, and I was getting a little perturbed. And I'm like, hey, what do you got? So starting game 6, he's like, you're murdering the score. Don't worry about it. And I said, okie dokie. So by the time we were getting done going to the 10th, I was doing the numbers in my head, and I'm like, we're going to shoot almost 3,600. I'm like, this is insane. And so when we got done, I'm like, oh my God. I'm sorry, 10,600, not 36. But I said, I still can't wrap my head around it. It's a lot of score.
Yeah, breaking the longest standing record, I believe it was 1996 in Salt Lake City. That's just incredible, and for you guys to pass somebody who had just done it a few days earlier, that I kind of told you maybe that those kind of scores were out there, but to get it done is incredible. Anybody else on the team there? John or Ryan or the other John, you guys want to chime in a little bit on what we were talking about there? Go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the things that Wally had mentioned was getting into the late doubles, singles set where his A team really kind of saw transition. And I think that's kind of what Lang was talking about, what he started running into, where he just kind of got a little bit fishy coming through, and that's where he was kind of struggling. But having a guy like him, and especially Ronnie, that was the biggest key. Those guys were a bigger tool in the bag than any bowling ball that you could have brought. Because when you have those moments and you're just kind of like new still, trying to figure out a way to get through, and not so much focusing on the goal overall, but really kind of minimizing it down to just that next shot. Those guys really like this, the ability to give you that calm feeling. And that I felt the most you could see the scores. I was struggling pretty firmly through the second game of doubles. I think I had like 60 through 4 or 5 frames, and then they said just grab a ball you like and chuck it. So I listened to Papa J and Ronnie and grabbed a ball and chucked it. And I wasn't happy for me that I could keep striking like, oh, great, now I got a score going again. It was the fact that you're staring at throwing the back 7 in the middle of a set, and you're trying to shoot 2-0 doing that. But you're really just focusing on trying to keep pushing the team along. And I'm not going to get into the Wally bowling talk because most of my game is find a way to get the right ball to just throw it hard and decimate the rack. And,
Can I have a
follow-up? That's basically what happened. And so I guess I kind of feel lucky in a sense that what was there really kind of honed in on my A game, my strength and my comfort level, but it wouldn't have mattered because I would have been just the guy trying to find something soft to come around it if I didn't have those guys there that knew my game and knew that if there was one guy that was there right now that could just grab a rock and chuck it down like 4 and just strap it, that was going to be me. So that was the biggest point for me going through that second day. Aside from getting around, missing single pin spares late in the team set, you want to punch yourself in the leg, after you whip a 10 or a 6 pin. But they were good sports about making sure nobody took all the blame that day.
We weren't going to bring that up.
It's okay. We're in a safe space here. And then you got Dr. Evil back.
Yeah.
I got one question
Jokester.
for follow up with Ryan. What did you see to make you think you should be soft and playing in doubles? Waz, I don't know if you've ever seen Van Hecky bowl, but he beats some people when he plays to the right.
Well, his first motion was to grab his Cobra, and his first 2 shots at practice were throwing a Cobra. And Jay comes up to me, and Jay's like, he's not really about to do that, is he? And I was like, you know what? I don't want him to do that, but I'm going to let you tell him that. I mean, he'll listen to you. If I tell him not to throw a Cobra, he's going to be like, it's not going to mess up the pattern. We're going to be fine. Look, I'm striking. So Jay walks over to him after 2 shots, and I mean, his first 2 shots in practice were dead smash with this Cobra. And Jay's like, yeah, that's going back in the bag.
So he didn't exactly try and play in and roll them. He was still playing out. He was just, as firm as he likes to be, he was still a hair too soft.
Yeah,
so he was at 7, 8, 9 instead of 3, 4.
Right.
And so after him struggling through a game and a half, that's when we're like, no. Hard 4, 5, murder it. And that was all Ronnie. Ronnie was like, no, right, grab a ball you like, and you flame chuck it. He's like, just
22 miles an hour, flame chucking it.
Yep, do what you do. And he did it. I never wanted his ball to enter the pocket because every time it did, it tried to not strike. So if he had pins going sideways, he had a 7-bagger every game. And I'm like, don't get soft with one. Don't let it see the pocket.
It's funny.
Yeah, I thought it was the most incredible bowling I saw.
Good stuff, guys. All right. Who would you guys say that is the leader of this group? I know everybody's got different personalities and different ways of dealing with the team. Who's the leader of this clan?
Ronnie? I'd say Ronnie. When it comes to everybody, us 5 guys in that set T area getting ready to play, I'd say it's Ronnie.
Yeah.
10
Ronnie.
times out of 10.
Ronnie, you want to give it a shot? You got any audio?
Is it working?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. I went to the old faithful microphone.
Heck yeah.
Headset. First, I appreciate that, guys. That means a lot to me. This moment's pretty cool. Sharing this with y'all, hearing Wally's quirky jokes. I was looking forward to this day, being able to celebrate our way. I feel like we're back in the pandemic on this damn screen. But no, it's it was a really awesome experience, and I know I'm going away from the question, but I've been out of the audio for a second, and I guess I just wanted the guys to know how much I appreciated that moment, and how special I thought it was, and how awesome we came together as a team. The speedball trick that Ryan had, it's just kind of how like Wally talked, like me and him kind of break the lanes down and look at it a little technicals, and sometimes if I don't see the picture or the pattern doesn't make too much sense, my repeatability may not be the highest. But seeing what Ryan did, it was like he bowled blindfolded and trusted his feel. And it was such a awesome display of bowling, and it was really cool to be in the front seat to watch that. And then having Buffa on his pair, and he was by himself and fighting through his struggles. And man, I mean, I feel like I can be the one that sometimes just locking us in and talking to bowling and a positive talk and trying to get us focused. But this year, we all were our own leaders. We all came prepared. We all was ready for the moment, and I felt each one's leadership in their way to make me more comfortable to play that couple days. So this trip, I really can feel the leadership from all of us.
Good stuff. All right, Luke. Luke, you got anything for these guys? Let her rip.
Yeah, we'll talk about. So right before, I think it was either the show or like 1 week or 2 weeks before, we were talking to Aaron Smith about, okay, well, the records out there, it had been a little bit higher scoring this year, which is kind of interesting because on paper the patterns were pretty similar to the last several years, but that we were specifically talking about, okay, well, which records do we think might be able to be beaten? And this was the one that we all kind of just decided on. It's like, okay, well, 37-20 for team, that's a big number. That's probably not going to get there. But the other numbers, there's some room to work. But this was the one that we kind of decided. It's like, well, the team all events it's just not going to happen. This is just an unbeatable number. And then it got beat, and then it got beat again. So not only did you guys win this year, I mean, you got the record. So what's that like?
It doesn't suck. I tell you that. It's hard to put into words. Earlier, Brian was talking about the waiting period and how annoying Barta was. And we have our own Adam Barta in this group, and that's John Kelley. So, we got to a point where I literally had to tell him, if somebody doesn't shoot 3,400, don't text me. You want to talk about golf? You want to talk about anything else? I'm here. I said, but they don't shoot 3,400. I said, don't text me. And then Walachick bowled. And I'm like, here we go. And that night, watching them bowl doubles and singles, it was like 1 a.m. here. And I'm on my phone. I'm laying in bed. I got to get up for 6 for work in the morning. And I'm like, I was sick. It was a sick wait to begin with. I mean, I don't remember the wait. It's been 23 years since my last one. I don't remember it being this hard. I was a kid back then. So it was horrible. But yeah, so Johnny was the score guy. He knew everybody who bowled every day, who was coming up, what time, when. But yeah, to actually win this and have the record, I forgot who I was talking to when they made the call, but he's like, yeah, you cost me a few bucks on some ink for a new banner. I'm like, I'll chip in. That's cool. I don't mind seeing my name up there for a record. I'll take that all day.
All right, guys. Something I learned here with we'll get one more shot at Mr. Walachick here. The chat's talking about kind of some of the same things Luke and I did when we first had Brian on. They didn't realize it. He was actually a pretty good guy, and he's funny. And when you watch him bowl, he seems like the guy you don't want to bowl with.
He's miserable.
Yeah.
He's horrible to bowl with.
Oh, terrible.
He's crabby. He's never smiling. Unless he's got a drink in his hand.
Forever.
Watch out for the rosin bags. They come flying.
Yeah. Put a rosin and a hand conditioner. His hand looks like he's got a ghost hand.
If there was ever a team that I could root against, we got 5 of them on right now.
Go get your breakfast beers, Wally. You got to play 2 people that care.
The biggest, as we're talking, and I'm watching it, Waz and Luke, I don't know if you know these gentlemen personally, but the one thing that would hold them back, and I don't like giving them compliments at all, but they're so fun to be around, and they all know that the good times that they have at night might go longer and might actually all night long and affect their bowling the next day. Where my crew's a bunch of old people, and everybody's looking forward to the coffee and the big breakfast in the morning. This crew, they might go all night, and because they're a fun
we might
crowd.
have went a little bit all night. We might have went a little bit all night there, but we hung out and had a couple.
Did you guys go all night after team event?
We just didn't take it too far.
No, only three of us went to Fremont. We were all going to Fremont, and then Lang was saying, "No, I'm all done. I'm staying in." You know, the wife was there. We had dinner, and he said he was going to stay and play his video poker. He didn't want to go down to Fremont.
Yeah, you got to remember these guys on my team are all 15 years younger than I am. I mean, I'm literally 2 years away from bowling PBA 50 stuff. These guys are all in their early to mid 30s, except for Walachick. I mean, he may look 50, but I think he's only like 44.
No way.
So yeah, most of these guys I bowl with, they're all. I mean, I love them like they're my age, but they're not. I mean, they're all in their mid 30s, maybe. There was no way I was going after team event. Now, after doubles and singles, I may have had to get an Uber back to the house I was staying at.
How much did you? What time did you guys bowl on your doubles and singles?
I don't remember.
6 p.m. We bowled at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Oh. Nice.
Once we were done, we went to the sports book and we did the Uber Eats for Raising Cane's and got 100 pieces from Raising Cane's.
That was good. Thank the ladies for that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was nice.
All right. Let me sneak in here. One more question here that we've asked everybody who's been on the show. Some of you probably have seen the posts of me and the hot dog cart, especially when I worked the tournament last year. Each one of you, how many hot dogs did each one of you eat this trip?
1 or 2.
I got up to about 4.
I think I had one. I might, or maybe not. I honestly can't remember.
I got up to about
Shocker.
I had 2. It was my first 2 hot dogs in literally about a year and a half, and they were fantastic.
Yes.
That's how Jay fits back in that shirt, by the way. That and no cheese. Yeah. So, hey, Wally, he wants it back.
Jay looks beautiful now.
He can get in there now. He can button it up.
Him to work out. But there was a time when Jay, he couldn't fit in a lot of shirts.
There was a lot of drinking going on. There was a lot of too many college parties, or I felt like I was still in college, 20 years later.
All right, guys. If you got anything else for us today, any other good tidbits, any other good stories about the trip, let her rip. And then if not, we will let you guys go.
No, I'd like to do it again next year. If we could have the same conversation a year from now, I'd be a happy man.
I'm not sure Brian Walachick agrees, but
Brian, he could be on the show too. He can win all events again. That's cool.
Right. He's more of a me guy than you guys.
Yeah, well, somebody understood he's got a lot of personality. He's a riot, and that's only when he's drinking. You should see him when he's not. He's a real bore.
A-hole.
I'll even jump in and say after Brian's last show with us, which was 50 minutes long, Brian, Luke and I pretty much resigned ourselves to being a co-host with Brian and just letting him take over the show. He is definitely a funny guy, and not necessarily did we know that before then.
It's because he's a narcissist.
Yeah, you got that right. Huge. But in all honesty, he's a great guy, and we love him to death.
Hell, yeah. It's a lot of fun to
Great
joke.
work, guys. Great work.
That's you
awesome.
guys.
Your banner's going to be up for many years.
Yeah,
congratulations to you too, Wally.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks once again. Congratulations to all of you. We'll let you guys go. We appreciate you coming on, spending some time joking it up, but also talking about the seriousness of bowling and especially having team accomplishments like this is something you guys will never forget.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks, y'all. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
You have a good night.
All right. Those were your team all events champions. and hopefully we can get it right on Brian Walachick. There you go, Luke. Just take him completely out of the queue. No, I'm just kidding. He can stay on if he likes. Brian is one of the good guys. We had a lot of fun with him, but enough of the team concept here. We've got one eagle left to give. Of course, we're not handing them out, but let's go ahead and bring him on. He's been patiently waiting while those guys rambled on about their drinking and their non-drinking stuff, and we're going to put our fingers
on the audio.
All right, Alex George, let's hear your voice.
How are you guys? Can you hear me? We good?
There we go. We are good.
Fantastic.
How about that?
All right, we're speaking to the singles champion now. We've talked to doubles, all events, team all events, and everything else. Alex, your score held up. How happy are you?
Exhilarated, I guess. A lot of relief in there to get that phone call.
All right, take a moment and talk about the weight. Not everybody saw the first show with you. We talked a little bit about what you guys have to go through when you set a score, even a score as high as yours. You still had some worries. One of your college friends took a run at you. What was that weight like?
Exhausting. A very, very, very long 2 weeks, to say the least. It was nice the last weekend that I happened to bowl in Fort Sill for the regional, and even during qualifying there, I had my phone out, checking each double squad as I was bowling qualifying and match play. And the only guy who had a real chance after 2 was Jake Peters, and he still needed the front 11 game 3. So it was more or less over by that point. There was some relief that sunk in after Sunday.
I can imagine. And also talk about the phone call when they called you and officially said, hey, you are now going to be a winner here at the Open Championships forever with winning the Eagle.
I was pretty emotional. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm one who can ramble on for a very long time. And I was actually more or less speechless. It was hard to kind of contain the emotions that had built up over those 2 weeks of imagining getting that phone call and what it would be like. And finally getting it, was able to kind of release some of those emotions and finally know that I actually won the Open Championship singles. So that was pretty cool.
All right. Well, you started off in doubles with 220, 220, 230. Mm-hmm. What was the biggest difference? Once again, I'll keep repeating this, but for the people who didn't hear it last time, what was the biggest difference for you when you moved from doubles and went to singles? Did you do a little bit different? Did you move on the lanes? Did you change equipment, or did you do nothing different and the scores just came?
I think I threw the same ball all 6 games. I threw a tank blitz. The main difference was I kind of bent my pinky to try to get around it a little bit more. It's basically a step up from a urethane ball, but it's certainly not a reactive ball, so they get a little lazy down lane. So making sure it has enough energy down lane, and thankfully the pins cooperated on 32, 35 attempts, so that always helps.
And when you stepped up on the lane in the 10th frame of the third game, obviously you knew that you had a shot at the all-time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You also know, hey, just it's even a spare, or maybe even 9 out, but a spare, and you're almost locks for an eagle. But having that extra thought in your head, when you were on the approach, what was that in your mind, in the back of your mind at all?
Yeah, definitely. Went through that entire weight, getting to the 10th, I was more than well aware of the situation of knowing I could beat Bo Gergen's record. I didn't know what was leading singles. I had no clue it was 8:35. I had assumed it was somewhere between 8:05 and 8:20. So I figured the 1 in the 9th kind of locked that up. Thankfully, I made the spare, so that made that a little bit easier. But getting up there, once I got into my pre-shot routine, the only thing that mattered to me was the thought process of going through my routine, getting up there, and trying to make the best shot I could.
Yeah, and being on the approach, and we try not to think about stuff when you're in that situation. Even just somebody going for 1-300, but that stuff's got to be in your head. And as a accomplished bowler, how do you kind of block that out enough to just go ahead and make the shot that you've been making the previous 34 times?
Practice. A lot of I think all of us grow up, imagining hitting a buzzer beater to win a game or kneeing all three in the 10th to win a tour title of the U.S. Open. So visualizing that in practice and like I need 6 in a row to win this event, that I've just made up in my head and the crowds all around me, and that kind of visualization kind of helps. And then being in that situation before, obviously, in terms of like to win or to shoot an honor score or something. Obviously, nothing near as big or important as that in my life, but that and like having a dedicated pre-shot routine, both physically and mentally, to me, has always been a key. I help coach the JV guys at Newman, and preaching that consistency of trying to get your head in the right space before you get up there and are focused on the task at hand of making a good shot, trying to have a pre-shot routine, whether you're just wiping the ball off, whether you're someone like me that attacks a rosin bag first, and then getting up there and drawing a line from the break point to the arrows and trying to hit that line as best you can.
So what's life been like since you officially became an Eagle winner, between texts, phone calls, and even bowling now that people expect you to shoot 848 every time?
Yeah.
I sure hope they don't expect that, because they're going to be disappointed a whole lot of the time if I'm bowling just 3 games. Honestly, not a ton. I now get the comeback of, if you're going to talk crap, can you at least show me your Eagle? So that's always nice. Not a whole lot's changed. I mean, I've always been a fairly confident bowler in my ability, and kind of increased a little bit. It's cool going places and being congratulated all the time, and it's kind of awkward to an extent. Not something you get used to, I think, but something I haven't had the experience with in my life so far. So that's always cool.
All right. Did you retire the tank blitz, or is it still in play?
Oh, it's still in play. I don't have another one, so that one's going with me until I can't take it anymore, or I find another one.
Yeah, we've seen balls dedicated to USBC or certain pro shops and stuff, so I want to make sure we asked you that, because a lot of guys they put them up. I couldn't. I know Steven Casella, who we had on the show, shot 900, talked about, he gave the ball away right away, signed it, and got another one. And I'm not sure that's something I could have done, at least until maybe the string of strikes ended the next time.
Yeah, I definitely think that ball's won me a fair amount of money now, and I think it has the ability to win me more money in the future. So definitely going to be selfish and keep that one in the bag for a while.
All right, well, we got you bowling our Kansas City tournaments here coming up next week, and Lawrence will be bowling with Zach Wilkins.
I'm hoping he's got the backpack ready.
Exactly. Now, talk a little bit about some of your thoughts. Now, obviously, you've accomplished this regionals, PBA tour. What's down the line for Alex?
Certainly all the regionals. Hopefully, going to find a way to bowl on tour, either this year or the next year, before I turn 30. For 30 is kind of the cliff you fall off. So I already feel kind of old some days. So definitely want to get out there and do that before I turn 30.
Well, 30's not terrible. 40s were really just kind of.
I still got time for that.
Yeah.
I'm 3 years from 60, so the cliff is a lot closer for me. So
you look better at 57 than I do at 27, so that's got something to say.
I appreciate that. This is a guest we'll have on more often than Brian Walachick, for the compliments that you've given. Luke, what do you got for Alex here? I know it's something that you and I will probably never experience, but what do you got for Alex?
Yeah, I wasn't that great right-handed, and now I'm the other hand, so
hey,
whatever. But
left side's way easier, trust me. Way easier.
That's what I've heard. I'm still waiting on that, by the way. One of these days I might find it.
It's coming.
But I was a little bit nervous for you, because we were there at the same time that Jake was there. And yeah, I think he had the front 8 3 or 4 times in doubles and singles. I know that he shot like 210 out the gate, then he went front 10, 280, and then it was something else the third game he was pretty close. Then he had the front 8 the first game of singles, and then he had a couple rough frames. He ended up with 250 some, I think 255 maybe. And I thought, well, he's got to have the back 24. But then he had the next 18, and I'm thinking, yeah, and he was acing everything. Just every single shot was perfect, and he was making moves in between. And, I thought, okay, so he shot 300, whatever. He's still got to have the next 11. And then just bang, 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 bang. And, it's one of those things that's like, well, he still needs 6 more hits, but he's just gotten 18 in a row. And if anybody was to beat you, Jake Peters would be the guy that's like, okay, this sucks, but cool guy. But at the same time, yeah, then he ran into a little bit of trouble. And 848's a monster set on a house shot. So, just like you said that you were nervous, but were you really that nervous, or is it just kind of what kind of nervous was it? I guess I don't know.
I probably would have been much more nervous if I was at home sitting in my room compared to bowling a tournament, especially a PBA event. But Jake strikes. I mean, he's won on tour. You don't do that without being able to repeat and string strikes. So I see no reason he couldn't throw 24 in a row, even on that. So the chances are there. Obviously, like the odds are not high, especially on that of stringing 23 in a row that are perfectly timed 23 in a row.
Yeah.
So like that's odds aren't high. They're probably like less than 1.5%. But if you tell me, hey, like you can eat any of these popsicles out of 100 and 1.5 of them will kill you, I'm not going to eat one of them. So like I'm still, there's enough of a percentage there that I don't want to leave it to chance.
Yeah. So one of the cool things is I've been to nationals with several people that do have their. So from now on, you're going to be the guy in the squad room where you always hear somebody else announce this gentleman shot 300 in the whatever else, and now for the rest of your career, you're going to have one of the top sets at nationals ever. You're going to have an eagle, and like we talked about with Brian Walachick, a group of eagles is called a convocation. So
did not know that. Wow.
Yes,
That's a new one.
So you still have plenty of time to add extra eagles to your tally. So how do you like the National Bowling Stadium in Reno? What are you thinking for next year?
The first time I ever bowled nationals was at the National Bowling Stadium, and what was that, 2016? We were there last, I think. I actually think that place is a pretty cool venue. And ironically enough, I had the front 8 in singles there too, I think. And I don't remember what I shot, but I actually could have bowled pretty good if I did make a bad move on the right lane and missed the head pin 3 times in a row. So, and yeah, I still remember that 6 years later, trust me. So that was pretty cool first time there. So I see no reason. Obviously there's thousands of bowlers and a lot of them are pretty good. I'd argue better than me. I just got lucky enough to strike a whole lot in the perfect 3 games to strike in. But lightning can strike twice.
Yeah. And it happens. There was I got a friend of mine from Topeka actually has the only back-to-back 300s in the history of the tournament. And he shot, which is funny because he shot 560 in team, and so he didn't put anything in brackets for doubles and singles.
I feel that.
He shoots 837. So, but it doesn't matter. It happened. So, no, it's super, super cool. And the fact that we know you and that you bowl tournaments and you're one of those guys that again, like I told you last time, you're not like, oh God, that guy. And everybody's happy for you, and so I think it's great. I'm glad that you held on to it. I don't know. I can't say much more. Just congratulations a million times over, and
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the number of congratulations I've got is kind of overwhelming, even going to the PBA events and having people walk up to me. The second thing they ask me, funny enough, after they go, how's it feel? The second question is, did you play brackets?
Yeah.
And then I have to defend myself when I say no and go, I didn't bowl grade team. lost the 300, 400 bucks I put in, and now I have to turn around bowl at 7 a.m. in a half squad, and 3/4 of them aren't in the regular division. So I'm gonna have my justification was I'd have to play the field brackets, and there'd been a whole lot of 260 plus games.
Yeah.
Not that I knew I was going to go 290, 279, 279, or else I would have grabbed everybody's credit card and let us all be able to buy new houses.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting thing too about tournament bowling is that 300 is really plus 100. It's cool to shoot a 300 in a tournament or whatever else, but you're thinking it's just kind of a different thing from a tournament bowler mindset. But yeah, there are a lot of guys that go out there and we just got to dump all this money into brackets because this is a big time of the year for us. But yeah, it's kind of a different thing to talk to certain people, and some people are all about the number and the trophy and whatever else. It's like, yeah, the trophy's cool, and we're there for the trophy. It's not about the money, but it's kind of about the money a little bit.
Trust me, that price check is not going to hurt my bank account at all when I finally get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Alex, the question we got to ask you is how many hot dogs did you eat out there? What did that propel you to victory?
Waz, you're going to be so disappointed. 0.
Same here.
I've never been a big hot dog guy. I'm a big brat and like hot link guy. Never been a big hot dog guy in my life. So I'm sorry to tell you 0.
That's all right. Luke, you got something to dislike Alex about now.
There had to be something.
I didn't have a hot dog either, so I went down there with the express intent to eat hot dogs after we've been talking about it. I couldn't even fit one in, so
yeah, it's
a 0 hot dog thing.
Yep, I should have a hot dog division. You have to eat 2 or 3 before you bowl, and I'd have a shot. The next division coming along. So, Alex, you got anything else for us? I know this has been a whirlwind for you, and we appreciate you spending some time here a couple of times with us. But
it's always fun.
Anybody you want to thank for contributing, either coaching, bowling equipment, whatever.
Before that, last time I was on, we talked about Norm. There was a funny thing that clicked in my head. Aaron Smith talked about that interview after Norm crushed them at a block at the U.S. Open in Syracuse. Funny enough, in that interview, he says that professional golfers, the best ones, know how to go low. And that's all he did, was that same mindset. After I shot 290, I could see Norm saying that over and over and over again in my head as I tried to string them together more and more and more. And totally forgot about it until after Aaron mentioned it. So definitely was part of the mental mindset and pre-shot routine, which just strike. Post the highest score you can.
Yep. You see that. You see it in golf. You see it in bowling. Somebody shoots 290 like yourself, or they shoot 8 under, and the next day they shoot 1 over, or you shoot 2-0 the next game. It happens all the time. So having that mindset and being able to finish it off is a special quality to have.
Absolutely. And then on the link train, I mean, obviously my parents and family, all my close friends I've known for a long time, the Newman bowling program again. Seriously, Billy's done a lot to help me. Justin Crumley as well, since I was a freshman in high school. Austin Bolds, like an older brother to me, always treated me way nicer than he ever should, and puts up with way more of my crap than he ever should. Always helping me out whenever I have stupid questions or feel like I'm throwing it like a dingus. I can go ask him what the heck is wrong, and it takes about 2 seconds for him to figure it out. So all those guys, obviously USBC Hole and Tournament, and shout out, this beautiful, beautiful plaque they sent me. I'd get it down, but I don't want to reach back there and risk anything happening to it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So whenever you hear, people complain USBC doesn't give out awards, shoot an honor score at some cool event, and hey, there we go. There's one too.
I got my 25 years in. So yeah, there's another thing.
You've been bowling since I was 2 at that event, Wes, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yes, been bowling for a long time. I've been bowling that event probably before you were born. Actually, they weren't consecutive years. 87 Niagara Falls, 88 Jacksonville, 89 somewhere right in there was the first one. So
That's
you were
still pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, Alex, we will let you go. Once again, thanks for spending some time with us. Congratulations once again, and keep
Thanks
up
so
the
much,
great
guys.
work. We'll
Yep.
check back with you here soon.
Oh yeah, I'll see you this weekend. Have a good one.
Sounds good, man.
Bye.
All right, Luke, we will let's wrap this thing up here. We're right about a little after 8, but we'll see Alex this weekend. If I remember, being 50, almost 57. Actually, I gave myself a year. I still got a week and a half here, but we'll do a little special announcement for Alex when he shows up there about winning the Eagle, and you and I'm my plan right now is to do the show at your place next week.
Okay.
Since we'll be in Lawrence already, so
we can make it back in time.
Yeah, we got a better chance of making it to Topeka than we do Lee Summit. So let's we'll plan on that. Obviously, we'll talk about it. If we have to, we'll invade on Jesse Bauer's territory there and do it right there.
Yeah, they've got a nice little room in the back, so we might have to. That might have to be part of the conversation there.
All right, we got to continue this tradition here. We're going to let Gabby help with the sign off here. Gabby, you want to say thanks for listening?
They can listen, old man.
Luke is the co-host. He wasn't necessarily the listener, but we want to thank the listeners. Luke, take a moment and thank our sponsors there. I don't have my list with you. You've got your shirt on. Lead us out of this trap.
Yep. So we definitely want to thank Storm Bowling, Storm Products Incorporated, Turbo, Cool Wick, Logo Infusion, Bowlers Mart, SRGBBFS, S&H Custom Homes, Double J's Pro Shop, and let me see, Bob Foster, Bobby Jackson's Trading. I think that's everybody. Thanks, y'all. We will be here next week. Who you thinking for next week? Do we got any leads on anybody so far? Or
actually, with putting this show together, knowing it was all Eagle guys, I really hadn't even started working on the next one, so I don't even have anybody to tease. So it'll be a grab bag. We'll see what happens in the bowling world. Real quick, let's get you an update here on the Tour Championship. Maria Jose Rodriguez still leading the way. She's plus 679 after 14 games. They still got one more game to go. The 15th game hasn't posted. They just finished. Stephanie Zavala jumping into the top 5. She's 4th now, coming off a 21 bagger, which included a 300. So a lot of good stuff happening there. So, Luke, thanks again for taking the controls there and take us out here.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We will see you next week on The Bowlers Show.